On the latest Inside Star Citizen to and fro with cargo, we finally got to see what the new persistent hangars were going to look like in the upcoming 3.23 patch. But with so many changes happening with hangars, I couldn't help but have even more questions than before I watched it. My name's Dead Leader, and let's take a closer look at Star Citizen's persistent hangars update. This video started off with a list of dot points for questions I had that weren't covered in the ISC, but as I chatted to my Discord and a few other players, the longer and longer the list grew. So here's just my thoughts broken down into categories. So with the persistent hangars themselves, when a new patch happens, will everything that's sort of decorating your hangar be gathered back into your inventory in the long-term persistence database? Or will we need to clean up any guns or gear that we have out on display that isn't connected to our account? I personally am a big nester in video games, and I like kind of getting all my items sort of out of, the storage and putting them out on display and making things look pretty. And that's a large part of things I enjoy in gameplay. So if it's something that we need to make sure we need to tidy up at the end, it'd be good to know before it all gets wiped. And since we're designated a hangar that's the size of our largest ship, what happens to anything that we've got decorating our hangar if we buy an even larger ship or sell our largest ship? Will our items return to inventory, or will they be lost? Since if we go from an XL hangar where we've got heaps of stuff around to just a small size hangar, what's going to happen? Are they going to go back, or is it just going to be sort of deleted? And what about red players who mostly play out of Grim Hex? Will there be a version of persistent hangars for them? Maybe one that they can pay for? Will the XL hangars spawn small ships in the middle, which is a long run to get to if you've ever taken a 890 jump out before? Or will there be some way to make it summer closer to where you summon it from the ASOP? Will previously unusable items such as fish tanks, models, and other hangar decorations finally be usable in this patch, or is that something that we can expect to come sort of later down the line? And a large thing that I found was odd that they didn't mention anything about was the potential of griefing with these persistent hangars. So for instance, can griefers just follow us landing into a persistent hangar? And if they do, can they sort of steal items that are in there if you've got like guns that are like around, or can they move them around once inside? Or if they say explode a ship or explode your ship in your hangar, like making a mess, and will the wreckage and the items on the landing pad sort of cease the function of the ASOP terminal, since they said in the ISC that it'll give you an alert if it can't go down because there's something in the way? And what happens if we leave and come back with that mess on the landing pad? Will the wreck persist in there, or will it delete everything on the landing pad fresh when you reload back in? Meaning that if there's anything that kind of gets knocked onto that landing pad that, you had displaying elsewhere around it, if that blows up and goes on the landing pad, would that delete all that stuff? And do we need to tidy it up manually? And is there anything in place to deter this, like some sort of force fieldy thing blocking people that aren't in your party from coming past that barrier? Or I don't know, like, is it something they've thought about? Like, what are we going to have to do? What are the risks of having things out in your hangar, essentially? Should we not ever kind of put anything important out and for a risk of losing it? I don't know yet. They said some stuff about parties as well, saying that you could like summon a vehicle and a party member could take it out and you could summon another one. But at the moment, you can't actually have a party member request leaving a hangar. So is that going to change? Can a party member request to leave your persistent hangar? And can a party member use your ASOP in your hangar to call their own vehicles? And if a party member leaves in your ship, can they also request to land back in the same hangar, or would they have to request their own hangar? And what is the status of cargo gathered by a party member but stored in your inventory? Does it count as stolen? And how are we going to see that? Is it going to be represented or what? And is there going to be potential for maybe having a party member as a designated sort of hangar operator who could oversee opening and closing of the hangar for different people sort of outside of a ship? Maybe they could be there working to store salvaging materials. If you've got like a large group that are doing cargo and salvage, moving them back and forth, maybe is it like viable to keep someone in a hangar the whole time to sort of let a clan come and go and store things, as you go? Also, local inventories. One thing they sort of hit on was that there's no longer going to be local inventories at your sort of starting locations, but they sort of didn't mention the fact that there's also going to be removing the inventories from inside ships, meaning anything you want to store in your ship will either be in a physical cargo box or in crew storage lockers. And what about the armor lockers, as they're now more important than ever? Like, needing to get a new gear on if you're being attacked or something might mean you have to run to the complete opposite side of the ship or somewhere really not easy to get to get the right gear ready, when those armor lockers are specifically made for that. Do we have any idea of when we might be seeing those put into the game? And it's clear to me that the way we view which ships we prefer to use for certain things and as a daily driver is going to change drastically from this, since a lot of the daily drivers I like to use and a lot of people use is because it's easy to have that internal storage. But if they're not going to have such internal storage anymore, I think that list is about to really be changed in a big way. Storage commodities, like, can we store commodities in our inventory, like RMC from salvaging? And is there a limit that we can keep in our persistent hangars sort of inventory? And storing large amounts of commodities, because that could be a good idea for when the dynamic economy comes in to sell when prices are high. That could also affect what location for a starting location you might pick, since, say, if you're a salvager, you might want to be over on Orison, since you'd be close to the asteroid belt around Yella, which a lot of salvage missions often automatically spawn in. And cargo loading and unloading. We've seen some shots of mining outposts getting cargo elevators, or maybe that was even a shot of a bunker with a cargo elevator. But what about things like drug labs? If someone kills you once you purchase the cargo, can they just take it from the cargo elevator themselves? Is there an automatic loading or unloading option for these remote cargo stations, since you can't store your ship there? Or will we be able to suddenly store our ship in these places? And what about salvage yards? Will we have to move illegal commodities one by one? Will there be a change in value of commodities to make it worth the extra time and risk you spend with trading all of these? Is the mechanic of not being able to buy or sell cargo with someone on board being removed? That means we can finally have someone on board looking out for pirates while we buy or sell, or manning a tractor beam ready to help load or unload as soon as it's bought. And I definitely think it's time that Reclaimer really got that cargo grid on its elevator now, since it's all about moving things reliably up and down and in and out. I think it's definitely time, guys. Reclaimer needs that grid. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more questions I'll have once this goes live, since the ramifications this all has on Star Citizen's gameplay is going to have a lot of knock-on effects, with all sorts of things being touched by these changes. If you found this interesting and want these questions answered yourself, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and post any questions you have yourself in the comments below. Not only because it helps me, but it also helps get these questions in front of developers if they see a lot of discussion on it. Once again, thanks for sticking around to the end. I appreciate your time. My name's Dead Leader, and I'll see you out there in the verse. Thank you to my Patreon members for helping me stay afloat while I'm floating in space.